Going to college, I didn't think it was too bad. I felt like I kept myself busy so that I wouldn't just feel like, oh, I'm so sad, like look at the world around me. I was still doing things.
Welcome to Debunking Life and Health channel. This is Kristen. Hi, Kristen, college student, a sophomore, and she just finished a freshman year. And we have some questions about how she dealt with campus life in the midst of COVID. So, Kristen, welcome to Debunking Life and Health.
Thank you.
All right. Kristen happens to be my own daughter, so she's going to be easygoing and talking with Daddy on such an important issue as campus life in a pandemic. Campus life in a pandemic. So overall, tell me your experience on campus at UMass when you started school last year in the middle of COVID.
Okay, so I go to University of Massachusetts in Amherst, and it's its own little college town. So all the students there were all going through the same things. So they gave us the first semester of my freshman year. We weren't on campus. Nobody was on campus because that was when COVID was first, like it was at kind of its peak, kind of going down in the summer. So we weren't let back on campus for the first semester, but for the second semester they let only the freshmen back on campus and anybody who had an in-person class. So it was often graduate students or people with labs. So those were the only people on campus, and it was just so that they could give us a chance to get used to the actual college life because they didn't want to take away the whole year from us. So on campus, it wasn't bad. Even though they allowed all freshmen there, not all of the freshmen wanted to be there. Some people thought it would be a waste of money because classes were still online. So because the classes were online, it wasn't as many freshmen as it could have been if all of the freshmen came back. We all had our dorms and everything, but there was no going to and from class. Most of our time was spent inside of our bedrooms. Even though we were all there and we knew everybody was there with us, it was still kind of isolated. It would be you and your roommate if you chose to have a roommate. They didn't make everybody have a roommate because they knew that some people would be hesitant and sharing a room with somebody that they don't know. I had a roommate. She was really nice, and we both took COVID seriously. So a lot of people that were on campus even though there was no going to and from classes, people would have gatherings and parties, even though it was against the rules. So me and my roommate, we both took Corona seriously. So we were on the same page. That's why it was fine having a roommate. We took it seriously and we stayed in our room unless we were going to the dining halls. All right,
that's a follow-up. So the people who went out and partied and stuff, did they get punished? Did they?
It was hard to pinpoint who exactly was there, and because there was no like superintendent or like supervisor who works for the school that would be there. So the only way that they would catch them was if there was like video. If there was video and they were able to identify them, or I think one time there was a party and then the police came and then they took the names of everybody that was there. So those people got sent home. They got sent home before the semester was over, and they had to do it remotely from their homes instead of having the opportunity to still stay on campus. And because of all the gatherings that there were, the COVID cases spiked. So after the first, I think 3 weeks of us being there, they shut down everything completely. You can only get food and come back. There's no walking around without your mask or walking around as a group of people. You just have to really, that was the real quarantine. But yeah. Okay.
Now, can you tell us, I don't know if you have that information, can you tell us how many people, at least you heard, that got COVID in school? They were not COVID positive, but when they came, they got sick. Did you get any idea how many people got sick?
I don't know exactly, but I know it was in the hundreds, the upper hundreds. There was only like 2,000 people on campus, my school is a big school, so it may sound like a lot, but if you put it in perspective, it's not too many people in the freshman class. So I know it was in the upper hundreds. So that was the amount of people, and it was growing over as the school year was progressing, and there were even fears that we would all be sent home because of how fast it was growing. But they had, I know that they had a sectioned off building for everybody who was either contact tracing, they're around people that had it, or who actually got it. They had their own like building and the campus hotel that they all just put them there so everybody else would be safe. Good. And away from them.
All right. So that means you have testing facilities and everything on campus that took care of students that needed to be tested, right? Yeah,
we had to be tested twice a week, and if not, we would fall out of compliance. So in order to go to the dining halls to get food, you have to show that a green check mark that you've been getting tested, and if you were to skip like your testing for that week, the check mark would turn red, so you wouldn't be able to scan and get food. That's how they kind of kept track of everybody. But
that's a great idea. That's a great idea. Now it looks like at this point we are not out of the woods as far as COVID is concerned, because of the Delta variant, which is spreading quite more efficiently by the virus. Has the school, or have you heard of any other colleges in the area implemented, has the school in particular implemented any new restrictions or any new sort of ways of making sure that this new variant doesn't spread as much as?
Yeah, so before this semester started, they kind of like erased the things from before, thinking that like it would be good enough to have regular school. But as we've gotten closer and closer and it's still becoming worse and worse, they've kind of changed around the rules. What was it? They're just following the state mandates as of now. So the requirement of wearing your mask in all indoor settings, no matter how many people it is, that's what we have to do. But right now, so classrooms, dorm buildings, the dining halls, we all have to wear masks. But as for like outdoors, you don't have to wear a mask or anything. And they're still requiring testing, but if you're vaccinated, and I think my school is 98% of the students are vaccinated, you don't have to test as much as the unvaccinated people. The unvaccinated people, their requirements are the same as it was last semester, so testing twice every week, or otherwise you're going to be out of compliance.
So let me cut in there. Does that mean your school is not mandating students to be vaccinated, or you don't know yet?
They said it's required, but we still, it's not forced, you know? They're just like...
Okay, so it's required, but they haven't really placed any...
No, like, restrictions if you haven't gotten it.
If you don't do it, this is what...
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure they changed, especially now that the Pfizer vaccine has been approved by the FDA. Well, maybe we should check back to see if that changed, because most colleges are now requiring it, and there could be consequences if you are not vaccinated. Anyway, are you vaccinated?
Yes, I'm vaccinated.
And what would you tell other students like you who are hesitant
to get the vaccine?
Yes. Why? What do you hear from people like you in your age group who are not vaccinated? Have you had any conversations about some of your friends or maybe other people?
Yeah.
What do they say?
I feel like what I hear is just the general of what everybody else is hearing about how they want to wait and see what happens with the vaccine before they go and get it for themselves, because I guess they're scared. They don't trust the science behind it. That's the main thing that I hear. Or some people who say they have already gotten corona and they're like, oh, I'm probably not gonna get it again, so I don't need to get the vaccine. And then other people are hearing small bad things about the vaccines, and then they automatically cancel it out. But I know the requirements for school has really pushed people to do it, and yeah.
Okay, now let's go back to what you said. Can you tell me some of the bad things that other people have heard about COVID? Maybe we can disprove it right now. Because you got a vaccine, I got a vaccine, and I'm in healthcare. So maybe we can disprove some of those ideas. What are some of the bad things they are saying about the vaccines?
I guess some people had like an inflamed heart. I don't know if it was Pfizer. They said it was an inflamed heart, and they said that they didn't want that. And then the Johnson & Johnson, is it back now? The Johnson & Johnson, they said that before they canceled it out, and they heard about the bleeding, the excessive bleeding for people who had Johnson & Johnson. That was also canceling, you know. And just the initial sickness that you get when you first get it is throwing a lot of people off too. Yeah, I think that's the main things I've heard. And just not being able to trust it, because they think that it was developed too fast, so how could it be really good? Like, you know. And just a lot of conspiracies, like people are like, oh, the government, stuff like that.
College people also think
conspiracies, yeah.
Oh, really? All right. So let's take the first one. For as far as inflammation of the heart is concerned, it is not a lot of people. It's a few people that got that problem, or who get inflamed hearts and it's among the young people. So they are correct. You know, some young people, they found that they get inflammation of their hearts. So it is true, but again, it is a few. And the other thing is, it is also not a serious thing. It goes away. If you feel any kind of way, you just let your doctor know. It's treated and it goes away. It's not something that's going to kill you. And so if you think about getting COVID and dying potentially, or giving it to your grandma, your kids out there, giving it to your parents, and you risk those people's lives by saying that you're going to get inflammation, which is very few again, and also which doesn't usually lead to any serious health outcomes. It is something you should consider about getting. And the other thing is, as far as side effects, injection sites, pain or redness, that is something we get with flu shot and all the other shots that you got when you were kids.
And the passing out, like they said, there was somebody or a couple of people who passed out.
That is also something that happens with every other shot. If people are very anxious and they go in for a shot, some people just pass out. I've seen people in my own practice that passed out. It's not like they are passed out and passed out. They just lie. We made them just lie down for a little bit, and then they stand up and they go. So don't let those little minute things you hear about the vaccine draw you out, from the many people who are potentially being saved from COVID and its serious and potential side effects. You also mentioned that some people also think it was developed too quick. Mm-hmm. Now the FDA has come to approve it, so that argument has to be put back now, because not only was it developed very quick, but the reason is that this is a disease that was killing thousands of people. As we speak, more than 600,000 people have died. So if you say we should wait and use 10 years to develop a vaccine, just imagine how many people would die. So the urgency of the disease, made everybody so urgent to find a cure. That led to the discovery of this vaccine. So if something happens that is killing thousands and in fact millions of people in the world, trust me, we will not develop drugs for it using 10 years. Even if we've been using 5 years for other medications, there's no way we could wait for that long to get a drug out. And the other thing is the technology has also developed. We have high technology now. All the technologies that are out there now did not exist in the prehistoric times when, polio vaccines and all those other vaccines were developed. It took longer times because the technology was not up there. We are living in an age where individuals can go to space. You don't expect science to continue to be like that for medicine. So that is one thing we should keep in mind. The other thing is also that even though it was very fast, no corners were cut. They still followed all the rules about developing medications. Try it in animals, first develop the compound, try it in animals to make sure it's safe, try it in people to make sure it's safe, watch people who took it to make sure it's safe, and then tried it and gave it to thousands of people before we are where we are right now. So it is not something that we can say wasn't done right. All right, so I hope some of your friends that watch this would hopefully take my advice and get the vaccine if they were thinking about these issues. All right, so let's move on. Now, I'm pretty sure when I was in college, I went to school up here in Connecticut. We had a good time, trust me. With the Huskies basketball and everything, people were going to games. You must not enjoy college as we did. Going to school and being stuck in a room for a whole semester, or being restricted from even going to places. How do you feel about going to college last year and going back this year?
Going to college, I didn't think it was too bad. I felt like I kept myself busy so that I wouldn't just feel like, oh, I'm so sad, I'm so sad. Like, look at the world around me. I was still doing things that were safe for myself. Like, I worked out. I was talking to my roommate a lot, just like hanging out with her. And like once the really harsh COVID restrictions were lifted, we were able to play like board games, Uno and stuff with some other people from other dorms. So it wasn't too bad. And also my school is like a hockey school, so last year they won the championships, and it kind of just brought everybody together. Like, everybody would watch it on their own screen, but then like the next day after they won, there was a big celebration in the dining halls. Obviously it was different than what it could have been if it was the whole school and if we were like able to go in the arena, but it was still something that like we were able to bond, and it made the times less alone, you know. Yeah.
Good. I'm happy you still find a way to be happy on campus. I know you guys have this once in a lifetime chance of going to college and enjoying your youth, you know. So hopefully you can make the best out of it as you go back as a sophomore.
Yeah.
Right. Now, what advice do you have for other freshmen coming, some of whom are saying that I'm not going to wear a mask? You know what? To hell with them. I'm just going to do what I want to do. I want to have fun and all that. What do you want to tell them?
I would say the temporary pleasure is not worth it in the long run, because if you continue to do that, you're only going to make the whole entire pandemic in your school worse. So it's going to continue, and they're going to get harsher and harsher and harsher. So if you just lay low and like stay calm for now and think about what you can have when you're a sophomore, junior, and senior, that is like, you want to think more long term than just the temporary fun. So I would say wear your mask and be vaccinated, and try not to be around so many people. It may be difficult because you just want to live life in college and just do whatever, but you can do that, but it has to be when you're vaccinated and when you have a mask on. It doesn't cancel out all the fun, you know what I'm saying? I feel like some people think that you can't be safe and have fun at the same time, but they can coexist. And if you're able to find that balance, then you'll know that you're not making it worse for you or your peers, but you're also enjoying your time. So.
That's a pretty good answer. That's smart. All right. Another question I have for you is, I heard, and I think it's out there, that because of COVID, a lot of young adults, college students, and even high school students became depressed. Some became very anxious because you are stuck in the room. You don't see daylight. You don't have the chance to go out there with friends and all that. Do you think that is more of something that was happening on campus where you were?
Yeah, I think it was. And that's why our school had like available resources. So like there would be Zoom calls, and you could just talk to somebody, an on-campus like professional that like a counselor. So that was a resource available to us. And I would say you don't have to be alone. Like, it's not something that you're going through alone, even though it may feel like it because you're by yourself physically, but just know that everybody's in the same boat as you, so that you're not so like shut down and like in your head about everything that's going on. And just reach out to people, find people that make you happy, and then just don't, like, I feel like you won't be so sad. You don't have to be sad.
Do you feel like balancing, social activities like church,
I think church
activities, those help?
I think fellowship is always good. Like I do devotions I did it with my roommate and then some of my other friends at school, and it brought us closer together, and a friendship that wasn't, like, it probably wouldn't have happened if we were always outside, always able to do whatever we wanted. But because there was only so much we could do, that was something that we were able to turn to, and I think it helped a lot.
Like the strategies for coping with isolation due to COVID, you mentioned a few of them. Do you have any more to add?
Just keep yourself busy. I think when you have too much alone time, your thoughts can spiral. So keeping yourself busy, especially in school, there's always something you can be doing. You can find a job, you can join a club, you can work out at the recreational center. There's a bunch of things, so you don't have to, I don't know, I just think you should keep yourself busy and not dwell on the things that aren't happening for you in the moment.
All right. Yeah. Now, what advice do you have for freshmen who are coming academically and balancing academic life, COVID life, and social life. What advice do you have for freshmen?
I think you should just stay balanced. Like, it's so easy for a fun night to carry on into the next morning, and then you lose your whole schedule. So I feel like, first of all, plan out the times that you're going to do this and going to do that. The time that you said you're going to wake up at that time. Waking up early in the morning, I feel like creates a really productive day. Like, I was waking up really early and going to the student union center and just looking out the window and doing my homework and doing my classes from there. So I think just balancing and planning out your day, because if you just go in and you're like going with the flow, it's only gonna work for so long, and then you'll just start having things piled up on top. So just staying organized and connected with your peers. And for classes specifically, I think you should don't just be an average student. Like, go the extra mile to pass the class, because classes are going to be hard. So joining SI sessions where they have, mine was on Zoom because I haven't been in person yet, but they would have Zoom meetings, and then they would go over the lecture that we were in, or if there was an exam, there would be an exam review. And I think that was really helpful, especially for like my chemistry class and my biology class and my math class my first semester. So just be well-rounded as well. Just really stay focused, be well-rounded, and don't be afraid to talk to people. Like, I feel like college can be so lonely, especially now. So don't be so scared to just say hi to somebody that you may see walking. You never know, somebody else may be looking for a friend too, and you want to enjoy college as much as you can, even though we're in the middle of a pandemic. So don't be so, open up to other people.
Good. All right, now the last thing, and I'll let you go, is for parents out there, what do you have for parents? And then when you finish, maybe I'll also chip in mine, because when you go to college the first time, as a freshman, especially if you are the first out of your family to go to college, if you are the first child of the parents to go, or if nobody else has gone to college, it's also a drain on the parents. What do you do to help your parents, not just stay in touch, but also to be calm?
While you're away?
While you're away?
I would say maybe check in here and there. I know you want to be on your own and everything, but chipping in and saying, I got this in my class today. Just reminding, gentle reminders to your parents that you're doing well, that you're trying. Like, I know I would be like, I got an A on my exam, like once in a while, just to let them know that I'm trying. Like,
you didn't call us often, Kristen.
I didn't call often.
Yeah. At some point, I'm like, my girl is gone, and that's how it's gonna be. I called, but do you feel like you called enough? I
think I could have definitely called more. I don't know. I think I was just too
busy.
Yeah, busy.
And this is COVID time where there's not much fun.
It wasn't personal. I just wasn't.
No, I'm just saying. I just wanted the other college students that are watching also to know how parents also feel when you do.
I think I'm speaking to myself too, but I think just being open about what you're doing. I know I'm a little closed off. I know I'm a little closed off, but maybe just opening up and saying, today in class we did this lab, or today in class we did this thing, just to show that you're okay, Yeah.
Or maybe every weekend just call your parents. Mm-hmm. Maybe your Sunday evening, your parents are home. Hi, I'm just checking on you. And your parents also calling, right? Mm-hmm. Do you also ask that of your parents? Do you think
to call? Yeah. I feel like whenever I was alone or wanted to talk to you, I would call. That would be my call. But
we can call anytime.
Call anytime, yeah.
Okay. You don't feel pressured? You don't feel like we're checking on you too much?
I don't think you did that. I don't think you called me too much.
Parents in general.
I think it can be very easy for parents to kind of surveil everything too much, but usually the parents don't really. If it's okay with the kid, then I don't think it's a problem. Okay.
Good. That was a fruitful interview. Do you have anything else you want to add?
No, I don't really think.
No.
I don't.
Right. Thank you for coming on this interview. We'll do more interviews as your college life proceeds. And good luck with your sophomore year.
Thank you.
Hope to talk to you soon. And again, this is Kristen of UMass Amherst.
Yes.
Nice talking to you.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you for watching. This is again Dayspring Life and Health channel. And beloved, I wish above all things that you prosper and be in health, even as your soul prospers. Thank you. Thanks again, and thanks for watching.